Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Wanted to shoot a quick video because as always, I look for my viewers' input and what they want to see. So, MHOR released their May calendar the other day, and they have vintage racing on, I believe it's Wednesday the 14th and then Saturday the 17th. Vintage only class. And guess what? We have a few vintage cars. So, my question to my dedicated subscribers is, obviously I take these cars and I race them every now and then. Well, that's all I race, is the vintage cars. But what I wanted to do, and I know some people have asked, is, sometimes it's not a fair comparison, right? If different people are wheeling these cars, it's not necessarily me. So there's a little variable there. Is that car really the fastest, or was it mainly the driver? I don't know. But I continue, like I said, we've already ran the B3. Maybe taking the Losi and the Cougar tonight. We'll see. I'm trying to get a hall pass, so I'm going to do some yard work here this morning and see if I can get out of it, because I really don't want to go to a baptism. I'd rather go race my toy cars, but we'll see. And if that happens, I'm going to take the Losi and I'll take the Cougar, and maybe I can get some lap times on those. Or I know people have mentioned that they love the old school shootout. So if you've been a subscriber for a while, we took all of our RC10s. We had people wheel those things, and at the last vintage race, they finished first, third, and fifth. Obviously, we don't have our one long arm because Baja Jeremy should have received that yesterday or maybe today, depending on USPS. So he is going to be wheeling that car over there in Michigan, I believe. So what you see before you is kind of the selection of cars we have. So my question to my subscribers is, I want to toss all four of these down on the track at the same time. Let me know your thoughts and if that's a good idea or not. I think it is. We'll get someone to wheel the Losi. We'll get someone to maybe Mel. I know Mel's a subscriber and races at my track and is a big Schumacher guy. Maybe Mel wants to take the Cougar. We did get our updated carbon fiber steering rack in here. So that is in there now. Do a little bling bling, but it does, for whatever reason, does appear smoother, because I feel like my screws or something were hitting kind of the bottom, but that is neither here nor there. So got that done. Got our arm. Should have the brace for this week. If not today, early next week, we'll get the brace in there. The one thing I did do is I ordered the alloy mounts, and what they don't tell you is you need the spacers to use the alloy mounts for a normal height LiPo battery, which is what we run anyway. So I did have to order those. Those are going to be here on the 7th. So those will be here in plenty of time as well. Don't have them for tonight for more, but I think this car will be just fine. And if we bend the chassis, who cares? Because we got a spare chassis. The Losi's ready to go. Got our Sabula front bulkhead. Put a Factory Works for a carbon brace on our transmission. So this thing is ready to hit the track. And I know some people want to see that. So we're going to try to do that today. Our B3 obviously is ready to go. We took that for a shakedown last Saturday. Did well racing there. They said if it wasn't for some bad luck in the main. But first three heats went great on that. And then, as everybody knows, the king of the vintage cars. And I don't know why I put it that back. That's pretty fucking disrespectful. The fan graphite. So the fan graphite has always consistently been the vintage car to beat. Just because I think this car is well sorted, and it's a great car. I mean, Fan RC really knocked it out of the park with this. The CVDs are all the right length. Like I said, the last vintage race, Sam Ford powered this. He won every heat and he won the main. So, I have nothing but lot of admiration for the old fan graphite, and we haven't changed anything since that. We refreshed it, and that's about it. And I did put the cool collars on there, so we did get the cool race collars on there as well. But other than that, we haven't changed a single thing since Sam Ford powered this to victory. And we'll see if Sam Ford wants to take up that challenge again and perhaps defend his crown. Like I said, the big jump is a little worrisome with the small bore shocks on here, but yeah, I mean, racing's racing, so let's get them out there. So I am gonna glue up some new slicks and stuff for these. I think the pair that I have for the Cougars basically brand new. The Lozies are pretty good. I have a 1-run set on the RC10s, and then the other set for the B3 has about 4 runs on them, so they're probably all right, but I will glue up a freshy set just in case. So I wanted to get this video out and ask you, the viewer, if that's what you want to see. Do you want to see me drive these things so it's comparable to lap times, or would you rather say, you know what, I want an old school RC car action shootout, throw them all out there, get people to wheel them, and let's see where they are, because I think that did work well in our first vintage race. And like I said, it was kind of cool to see them all in one heat all at once. But I am not the viewer, and the viewers, whatever, have spoken of what they want. So if that's what you want to see, let me know below. If you're like, I'd rather see a fair comparison and see lap times with the only variable being the car and not the driver or the battery pack or whatever. And like I said, they're all set up electronically the same. Servos, all that. So tires are all the same. So really, it is just the car, because everything else is exactly the same, including, and I will give a shout out, these Surpass rockets are awesome. I really do like these motors. They're a hobby away. Come on. But for the price, the power's been great. And they're in every single car. So like every single car we have set up, the same Surpass rocket V6 21.5 is in there. And for these old girls, the 21.5s are plenty. So I do hope to see some more B3 stuff being reproduced. I'm going to get on the interwebs today and see if anyone's got some cool stuff, if fans got new stuff or what, because I don't know. I mean, this car is in actually really good shape. We rebuilt a ton of this on the channel. This thing is ready to go. Put some alloy wing mounts on there because bling bling. And like I said, this thing's sorted, so this thing is ready to go, I feel like. And then same with the Cougar. I mean, the Cougar did a little update on this the other day. Did get kind of a bunch of parts in, but we are going to, I don't know what much else we need besides our chassis brace coming in. That's going to be about all we want to see on this thing. So everything else is dialed. Like I said, we got our carbon steering brace in there, and we got a good amount of spare parts for this thing. So if anything should happen out there on the track, we can keep it running. Our alley shock bottoms are on, our new servo horn. So this thing is really looking pretty good. As far as being dialed in is everything else. And like I said, I think the Cougar's the closest competition. I think it's the closest competition to the the fan. My chicken nuggies, and I had some toast with peanut butter, and there's the chunky peanut butter. Oh, a big glass of milk. Anyway, so obviously I think the B3 is probably there too. I mean, we probably have the same amount of money in all these cars. The fan, $400. This thing was ready to go. Very little upgrades needed for the fan. Same, the Cougar, $340. You had about $60 in parts, which is really just the V2 slipper. You didn't need, like, the alloy shock bottoms and stuff aren't needed, but if you don't want your shocks leak, probably need them. And they weren't that much. So if you spend $60 on the Cougar, you're at $400 on that, and you're relatively kind of the same The same price, and I think really you're getting about the same performance. Obviously, our B3, we got a pretty good deal. Did rebuild that on there, put the big bores on there, which cost about $100. But all in all, I think we probably have about $400 into this car. We bought it on Marketplace. We cleaned it up. We switched out some parts. We obviously went with different shock towers and the big bores. The big bore shocks I bought used, and then I refreshed them. And we added some arms and obviously the CVDs. But this car didn't take a whole lot, but it probably does have about $400 into it. I think, in the end, I think I was in the car about $200, and I probably spent $200 getting that thing together. Obviously this is all minus the electronics. And then actually, probably the cheapest car actually sitting here right now is the Losi. Because we did buy this. If you saw previous videos, we bought this in kind of a lot of 3 other cars. One was the B3 in the Losi, and then the double X4 was in there, which I know Larry's working on now. So for all you guys wondering, crying about the double X, Larry is finishing it up. He sent me some pictures. I didn't want to put anything out there because I kind of want to do it all at once, but I will have that car back on this channel. Maybe in a couple weeks here. I'll reach out to Larry, see where he's at, but I know he's been working on it. He was doing some stuff to the chassis. He was adding some custom pulleys. He was going all out on that thing. So really our Losi is probably the cheapest car that we have out here. The car was missing the bulkhead. The Sapulitech bulkheads are like $1,250. The car we paid $125 for. We bought the rear brace. We bought the front and the rear shock, or the front shock tower, which really wasn't needed, but it was only like $10. Man. Yeah, and it came with the ball cups. We really did not. I mean, we put the stiffener brace. The transmission was rebuilt pretty easy. Oh, we had to buy the servo mounts, so that cost like $30. Man, there was. I bet we maybe have $200 on this car, maybe even like the Yokomo wing mounts, putting them on there, and like I said, they work perfect. That you don't have to modify the body at all. Stole the shocks off our double X4. And the shocks on here, the silver ones we actually sold for like $45 on eBay. So if you take that off, we probably have $150 into this car. So this car is actually by far probably the cheapest one on the table. But again, if people were making parts, I probably would have bought a bunch of parts. And I guess I did. I did buy rear arms the other day. See, gotta go through my box of goodies and see what we bought for that thing. Yeah, so we did get a spare top deck. Arms. I know we have spare hinge pins because I thought I needed the longer hinge pins for the front to run the brace. Spare bell crank system because we needed the servo mounts in order to mount the servo in on this. And yeah, so a few spare parts, but not many. So we will have to get some more on the way. Did order the JC Racing arms from them because they're really good shape, and they're a little kind of getting discolored, just I think from time. But they are graphite front arms. The JC are a little thicker. They don't have as much cutout or webbing in them. So I think those would hold up better, and those did ship, so I don't know. They might be here today or early next week, and we'll get those swapped out on the front. But these, I mean, there's not really any play in anything. A little bit on the end, but that's kind of how they were anyway. So, yeah. So actually, our Losi is probably the cheapest running vintage car that we have to date, because I don't think I have much in that. Because like I said, even though it looked horrible, it was just a $12.50 front bulkhead to get that revised. And like I said, we switched out the shocks to the hard body shocks. to upgrade that a little bit. And like I said, well, I painted a new body. Didn't really need that. And honestly, for the vintage race, we will probably run the old body. I almost like that better because the green turned out terrible on this. But and I don't even try to paint green. It's just the blue and the high-vis yellow mix into green. So the Cougar actually turned out great. Everything else turned out like shit, but whatever. So we may run this just to differentiate it out a little bit from the pack, so to speak. Because you're going to get tired of looking at white, green, and black running around that track. And yeah, so anyway, that's what we got. These are the 4 cars I plan on taking. I'm not going to do it. There's no 4-wheel drive class. They're really sticking to 2-wheel drive on the vintage side. And if I take these 4 cars, I won't be racing them. I will just be pitting them like I did the last time with our RC10s. So I'll make sure tires are clean, batteries are charged. It's a level playing field for the most part, so that guys are just wheeling these things. And like I said, that really did work out well last time. It got all the cars on track, which I thought was great. And I think a lot of people enjoyed seeing that. But again, before I do it again, I want to reach out to my viewers and my subscribers and see what you guys want to see. If that's something you want to see, cool. If you're like, nah, just go take 1 car at a time, run them, give us the lap times like Top Gear, be the Stig, and let's get a realistic idea of which one's faster. And like I said, I raced these all except the Losi we didn't race because it obviously broke. When we intended to race it, we had to race the B3 the entire night. And all these cars are great. I mean, I was leaning a little bit towards the Cougar because the only fair comparison I have is the Cougar and the RC10 or the Fan RC Graphite were ran on the same track. And even though this car finished at I think it was 3 seconds faster on the same track layout, but this car was in the A main when I set that time. I was the very last qualifier in the A. I think I qualified like 6th or 7th. So needless to say, there was like no traffic. However, in the Cougar, when we set our time, I think it was a 5:10 on that track. So 3 seconds slower than the Fan. We BQ'd that time, and we were trying to work our way through traffic, which I think slowed us down. So I think that car was actually a little bit faster. But the track layout that's there now is going to be around for a while because they just redid it. So it's probably going to be around for at least the next 2 or 3 months on there. So we do have plenty of time to probably do that. Like I said, we already have B3 times, but first time on that track, as you get better and you get more used to it, you're going to get faster no matter what car it is. So maybe we'll bring the B3 back or run them, or like I said, maybe we'll do splits to a qualifier. They run 3 qualifiers in a main on Saturday, so maybe we'll take them and run 1 and 2 qualifiers and 1 and a qualifier in a main and see how that shakes out. Do qualifier 1 with 1 car, qualifier 2 with the next car, and the car that's faster we'll save for the main, and then the car that didn't, we'll just do 3rd qualifier and then go that route, or we'll just do them both. Let me know what you think below as far as a fair comparison of what you want to see on the vintage cars. But with the vintage race coming up on the 17th, I think I'm going to take these 4. And I know I posted a picture the other day, and I know some people are really wanting to see that Kyosho Ultima out there. 20th anniversary edition. So it's kind of piqued my interest a little bit. And I know the other comment was on the Brian Kinwald edition. So obviously we got one of those on order. Probably coming the end of this month, so I'm gonna get the electronics for it. Obviously, same as these. And then I know someone mentioned, hey, when you get that BK, we want to see the Kinwald versus the Fan in a straight up shootout. Maybe that's one of those where I take both these to the track, run one in one qualifier, one in the other, and see which one is really the best RC10. So we'll see. What the other one you see missing from this table is our long arm or custom Dragon Punch long arm. I am looking for spare parts for that. So I am specifically the front arms. I did find spare front and rear arms. I think they come out of Hong Kong or something like that. But now they want $85 shipping, which is unreal. They only want like $45 for the front and rear arm set, but they want $83, I think, to ship them, which I'm not going to do. And I can't find them on Factory Works website anymore. So I'm hesitant to run that car. And like I said, I've never even driven it. Bioncraft's the only one. So until I find some front arms, man, I would. I'd be a little scared to run that thing. So anyway, guys, this is getting long-winded. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Let me see you want to see for Vintage Shootout, and we'll get it taken care of.